So, even though the details are too many, but the essence of all the details is that the Purvapakshi looks at an error, looks at the silver in the shell, looks at the snake seen in the rope as a product of change on the part of ignorance. Now our question is, no sir, it is not a product of change, either on the part of the rope or on the part of it. It is not a product of, there is no change behind an error. This is the, once we say it is not the result of change, then it is not the result of change on the part of either the reality or any ignorance. Ignorance doesn't change. Ignorance remains until it is negated. Like darkness doesn't change. Darkness remains until it is negated. Darkness can distort my perception. Therefore, in the same manner, immediately connect this point. Just as the snake in the rope is not a product of change, our samsara also is not a product of change. Neither the universe is a product of change, nor our pleasures and pains are a product of change. Not a bit of life is a product of change. Like not a bit of the snake is a product of change. Not a bit of snake is a product of change. Not a bit of our life is a product of change. Neither life is a product of change, nor death is a product of change. It is Bhranti. It is Bhranti. It is not a Bhranti in the mind of an individual, because the mind of an individual also is a Bhranti in the truth. It's a Bhranti in the truth. It's a perception in the truth. Therefore, it is not subjective. A given individual's Bhranti. It is universal. The very idea of subjective and universal is the result of Bhranti. In fact, Bhranti is neither subjective nor universal. Even the idea of the universal is, within the Bhranti is the idea of everybody. I am an individual. Within the Bhranti is the idea of countless individuals. It is not that countless individuals feel the same, therefore it is universal Bhranti. It is not that everybody feels so, therefore it is so. The very idea of me and countless others is a Bhranti in the truth. So when we are thinking, when Vedanta is unfolding such a profound truth about ourselves, to suddenly come and conclude it is a result of change, it can dampen your interest in Vedanta in no time. Any wrong turn in understanding the truth can dampen your interest. Yes. Lack of headway in understanding can dampen your interest. When you can't follow the story, you lose interest in what comes. You don't follow the movie, then you lose interest in it. You are doing business, in fact, the disinterestedness is instant when you don't follow. When you get some loss, you can still keep the interest going. But if you don't follow what you are doing, your disgust with it is instant. Your disinterestedness in it is instant. So the whole thing counts. You are listening to somebody you don't follow, you simply get up and go. Curse him and go. मैं तो यही करता हूँ. Curse from my heart. सत्यानाश. क्या करना है? Maybe why don't you say things more understandable? Why do you talk things so complicated? Even if you talk things complicated, let there be some reasoning. I can still follow. It has to be a method. But here this is wrong to say that snake is a product of change. Now I will give you another argument. I will go into it. Please let me enjoy dwelling. If ignorance is also material in nature, then anything material is should be available for ignorance and knowledge. The material, an object I can be ignorant of, like rope I can be ignorant of, or I can know it. An object is also, like truth is available for misconception and right conception, right understanding. Even in the Maya Srishti, in this creation, an object is there. I can know the object as it is, or I can misunderstand it. It's a material, it's a tangible thing, it's a thing. At least to begin with, it looks a thing. If ignorance also is material in nature, then that should be available for ignorance and knowledge. And that ignorance also has to be accepted as material. Again, it should have another ignorance, etc. It will become anavastha. Therefore, accepting ignorance as material leads to anavastha. Very serious flaw. Anything that is material can change. Anything material can appear and disappear. Therefore, ignorance, therefore rope snake is not a product of change. Once we see that the rope snake is not a product of change, and that is the analogy for the creation. As is the rope snake, as is my perception of the rope, snake is only my distorted perception of the rope. My being a suffering individual is a distorted perception. It's not a product of change. If it is not a product of change, it is a shared perception, then I can rectify that perception. Education becomes valid. Self-effort becomes valid, please understand. If our problems are due to change, self-effort has no validity. What do I do with self-effort? Because I can't reverse the change. Can't reverse the change. Man's effort can only rectify his thinking, nothing else. He can't reverse the age. He can't reverse the change. If something changes, you can't reverse it. You can't change the laws of Bhakti. You can't change the laws in the world. If a pleasure is temporary, you can't change the law. It has to be temporary. You can't have a permanent pleasure. At best you can say, I wish it were permanent. But you can't make it permanent. think I wish it were permanent also is a part of wishful thinking. Understand? Wishful thinking is very comprehensive and it includes I wish it were so, I wish it were so. तुमको होगा ही नहीं. If you wish for the possible things, that's right. I wish I also attended the classes. That's a good way. That's a good way. When you wish for something. I wish my pleasures were eternal. Wishful thinking. I wish I lived 500 years. Wishful thinking. I wish I too were another billionaire. Another wishful thinking. You don't need it. Even when you wish for what you don't need, that is also wishful thinking. Wishing for what you can't is wishful thinking. Wishing for what you don't need also is wishful thinking. My goodness, wishful thinking seems to be more comprehensive than Brahma-vichara. Very, very comprehensive. Therefore, all that man can do is only one thing, very understand. I can change my thinking. I can change my conclusion. I can rectify my conclusion about myself. I can rectify my conclusion. Even when we say that sometimes we complain, if people don't change, we don't mean they don't change, they don't rectify them. This person doesn't change, means not that really we want him to change. We want him to rectify his thinking. The entire education is rectification of thinking. And if our problems are due to change, not wrong thinking, I mean here wrong thinking is not about the things, here the wrong thinking about the truth. Wrong thinking. All of the wrong thinking about the objects is within the context of the wrong thinking about the truth. So fundamentally unhappiness is governed by the wrong thinking about the truth. And therefore, Siddhartha says here, atra uchyate. Therefore, imagining change behind our problems, imagining some change behind the appearance, imagining some change behind the life is neither right nor is it warranted nor is it necessary. We don't need it. Of course it is wrong. That's why Bhashyakara says, Abhitti chitrame tad varnitam. Page number 27, second paragraph, let us read the Siddhartha. I have given the sense of Puravacha. I haven't gone every line. 27, Atra uchyate abhitti chitrametad varnitam. That is the Siddhartha. Have you been able to find out? Abhitti chitra means you are painting a picture without the basis, without the canvas. Puravacha told him, you are dancing without the stage. He says you are painting a picture without a canvas. See? Scholars can't give gali beyond this. When the scholars do ladai, they don't all the time, you are talking without any basis. That's the strongest gali you can give. Abhitti chitrametad varnitam. Your entire description, your entire explanation about our life is Just, you are painting a picture without any canvas. Very magical. Shukti Rajataya, Shukti Rajata Utpattereva. Tavad Asiddhe. We can't establish that the silver in the shell is born. There is no proof. The silver in the shell is seen, not born. Change can lead to the birth. Change cannot lead to distortion. Change cannot lead to distortion. Shukti Rajata Utpattereva. The very event of the birth of the silver in the shell, Tavad Asiddhe, is unprovable. If the Rajata is not born in, if the silver is not born in Shuktika, then how can you speculate change behind it? If something is born, literally a product, like curd is born, a product, born, a plant is born from the seed, that is some change. Change. If it is really born, then there is a change, and if there is a change, it will lead to the birth. When the milk changes and curd is born, like that. You have to follow these words. But if there is no change, then there is no birth. And if there is no birth, then there is no change. Then we have to explain the whole phenomenon as perception, not as change and becoming. We can explain everything only, science explains everything away through change, causation. Whereas Vedanta explains everything as perception. In fact, science doesn't explain away everything. It tries to explain away everything as change. Therefore, its explanation is never final. Why? Because fundamentally this universe is never the result of change. Therefore, if Shukti Rajatam is not born, then there is no change. Nahi Shukti Rajatam Utpannam. And this example, straight away connected to your life. Pleasures are not born. Your frustrations are not born. Simply connected to your life. My life is not born. There is nothing born. It's a perception about myself. When the water says, I am a wave, the wave is not born, it sees itself. Calls itself as wave. It's not the water doesn't transform. Without any motion, if it looks at it correctly, there is no visibility. Therefore, even in rectifying its thinking, there is no change. There is no movement. In looking away, there is no movement. And in falsifying that look, also there is no movement. Vedanta's glory lies in this. The problem is felt without movement. The problem is resolved without movement. When there is no movement, then change also is a part of movement. Change is a part of movement. Chalana. Therefore, nahi shukti rajatam utpannam. Nahi, not. Shukti Rajatam, the silver in the shell, Utpannam, is born. It is not created. The silver that I see in the shell is not born there. Because it is born there, because it is sitting there, I see it. No. Here I am going to just dwell upon a very important point, because this is the context. Can you say there is silver because I see it? Even when I see it to be, it is not there. Can you say because it is there I see it? No. There is no silver. There is only shell. Because there is silver born I see it, it is wrong. Or because I see it, it is there, it is wrong. Seeing, what we call the presence of silver, is nothing but see. There is only seeing it to be there. There is only seeing it to be there. It is not even seeing it to be there. It is seeing the shell only. I am not seeing the silver. I am seeing the shell only. I think I am seeing the silver. It is also wrong to say I am seeing the silver that is not there. I am not seeing the silver that is not there. I am seeing the shell that is there only. I am not seeing myself that is not there. I am not seeing myself that is not there. I am seeing myself that is there. As Brahman, I am seeing it wrongly as I am seeing the eternal. I am not seeing the non-eternal. I am only seeing the eternal as non-eternal. I am not seeing the world that is not there. I am seeing my being that is ever there, as both the seer and the seen. I am seeing both. I am seeing the absolute as both the seers. Therefore, it is neither Drishti, Srishti, Bhava, not Srishti, Drishti, Bhava. There are two schools which say, I see, therefore it is there. It is there, therefore I see it. Don't make law. Just because I see the snake doesn't mean it is there. Nor can I say it is there, therefore I see it. Actually, I am not seeing the snake at all. I am seeing only the wood. What I am seeing is the fact, but only. Because it is a contradiction to say, if nobody can see what is not there, everybody can see. Everybody can see only what is there, either rightly or wrongly. This is Vedanta. Buddhism is just nothing. They say you are seeing what is not there. No. You cannot see what is not there. You can only see what is there. Either rightly or wrongly. We are not seeing the body that is not there. We are not seeing the world that is not there. We are seeing the truth as the embodied individual. We are seeing the truth as the embodied jiva. And the same truth we are seeing the seer of. I am seeing myself as the seer of the universe. In fact, we are not even seeing the universe. I am seeing myself as the seer. I am seeing. Therefore, nahi drishti srishti vada, which are great schools in the realm of Vedanta, over which people break their heads and end up in Max Hospital. break their heads for no reason. And both of them have flaws. Because the one who thinks without flaw will never break somebody's head. Every reason are you go. It's a peace law. The one who thinks without flaw never breaks others' heads. In fact, he breaks his own head, conveying. He never fights. Aviruddha. Bhashyakara's grand guru says, Vedanta has no viruddha. We are talking about not a given vada which can be replaced by another vada. One vada can be replaced by another vada. One argument can be replaced by another argument. One theory can be replaced by another theory. But we are only pointing out the truth which cannot be replaced. If you say this is snake, and then you say because it is there, therefore I see it. Another person says because I see it, therefore it is there, both are wrong. I am saying it is rope. You are not seeing snake at all. You are seeing only rope. You are judging the rope as a snake. You are not judging the snake as snake. You are judging the rope as snake because rope alone is within experience. And therefore, both these vadas have got two levels. Nai chutti rajatam utpannam tataha, therefore jnatam mayam. It is not that the silver is born and then afterwards it is seen by me. Tadano chutti jnanam vinashtam cha iti manyate kashchidapi loke. Up to that, listen. Nobody thinks like this. Oh, first the silver was born in the shell. Then afterwards I saw it. First it was born there. Then I saw it. Then later on I came to know the shell. And afterwards the silver that was born was destroyed. Does anybody think like this? Even in retrospect, you never say silver was born. Even to say silver was only seen, but what they mean is, I only saw the shell first. That's Vedanta. I only saw the shell first. Therefore, there is no point in arguing. Therefore, it says, the Vedanta Vidyarthis must continue understanding, looking at the problem, looking at themselves as the reality which is seen differently. Look at yourself as the conscious being, but being judged differently. That is the answer to all ambitions. That is the answer to all frustrations. Because that self is a full self. It is all comprehensive as itself. And you can't be full and also be worried about yourself. Tadanu shuddhi jnanat vinashtam chaiti manyate kashchidapi loke rajatavat pratitistu krantikale sarvajanina. Rajatavat pratitistu. Rajatam as a mere perception. Krantikale, at the time of illusion. Until I understand the shell. You can call it is Ajnana Kala, but the right way is Bhranti Kala. Life is a Bhranti Kala. It is a Bhranti Kala. Like when you are still dreaming, it is Bhranti. You call it as Swapna Kala, but actually it is Bhranti Kala. It's a Bhranti Kala. It is a time, it is during illusion. Bhranti Kale, Sarvajanina, it is universally known. Sarvajanina means it is Sarvaloka Prasiddha. What is Prasiddha? What is known to everybody? That the silver was not born, it is a mere perception, is known to everybody. That the silver is not born, that the silver is a perception is known to everybody. Sarvajanina. We can't say, first it was born, then it was seen by me, then afterwards it is suffered by me, then I go to some teacher, then the teacher tells me that it is only shell, then I throw light on the shell, then I saw the shell, then the silver is destroyed. Does anybody think in retrospect like that? No. Silver is only a perception, not a product of change. To begin with, we say silver is a perception, and if you become more careful about your retrospective vision, it was not. It was a distorted perception about the shadow. A Shunyavadi says silver is a mere perception. It is seeing the silver that is not there. A Shunyavadi says it is a mere perception. Means what? I am seeing the silver that is not there. He says I am seeing the silver that is not there. Vedanta says no. You are not seeing the silver that is there, nor are you seeing the silver that is not there. You know, right here you can understand the intelligent people should just not lose their opportunity and the context. If you say, I am seeing the silver that is there, that is called Bhakyarthavada of the Buddhists. Bhakyarthavada. The realists. Those who think there is an object. Therefore I am seeing it. This is called Bhakyarthavada, Buddhism. And if you say, I am seeing the silver that is there, that is Bhakyarthavada. If you say, I am seeing the silver that is not there, this is idealism. That is called Kshanika Vijnanavada. It is Vijnanavada. It is Vijnanavada. I am seeing the silver that is not there, makes it Vijnanavada. Is that paying great attention? If you say I am seeing the silver that is not there, Vijnanavada. If you say I am seeing the silver that is there, that is Bhakyarthavada. If I say I am neither seeing the silver that is there, nor I am seeing the silver that is not there, I am seeing the shell wrongly as silver, that is Vedanta. Now you see what is established, right? There is no use of simply, I am going to Buddhistic chanting. What is Buddhistic chanting? Mediocre schools, mediocre things for the mediocre people, the monks. Refuse to be a mediocre. You must refuse to be a mediocre. Don't swallow mediocre thoughts. You must refuse to be a mediocre. You must assert your, say, I can understand the most brilliant things. They can't define me. I can understand even the toughest of things if I make a little effort. Once you accept that you are a mediocre, then you become a third rate. Then you slip down again. You always slip down and down and down. If you say I am third rate, then you will become fourth rate. Say, I can understand. Even if you listen here and there, you can respect everybody. Don't swallow third rate thoughts, please. Don't swallow third rate theories, third rate thoughts, even if they are dished out in the name of spirituality. Your Shastram is fantastic. No magic, nothing, just baby stuff. All isms under the sun are baby stuff in front of them. Are you able to follow? Yes, please. Therefore, when I say I am seeing the universe that is there, that is Vakyarthavada. If I say I am seeing the universe that is not there, I am a Vijnanavadi. If I say I am seeing myself as the sphere of the universe, I am seeing the Paramatma and me, the individual seer and the universal seeing. That is Vedanta. And continue the same logic. I am not seeing Mr. So-and-so me that is there, nor am I seeing myself Mr. So-and-so that is not there. I am seeing myself Brahman and Jiva. I am neither seeing the pain that is there, nor I am seeing the pain that is not there. I am looking at the ever peaceful, discordantly, and an individual. As an individual, I am subject to pleasure. I am seeing myself, the Brahman, as the pillar of pain. I am seeing myself, the Brahman, as the pillar of pain, as the pillar of action. That's Vedanta. And to see the difference between Vedanta and Buddhism is not easy. Years of study can still leave behind some illusions. But I can put the whole thing in just 2 seconds, 2 minutes. Yes. Vakyartva, Jnanava, Shunyava, they're all nothing. Nayayikas, Karikaranamata. Okay. Rajatavat pratitistu pratikale sarvajaneenam. Sir, Rajatam, as a mere perception, is universally known. It is never considered by anybody as born. Nobody. Similarly, our pleasures are not born. They are always in perception. Our pains are born. They all look born. They're all. See, my pleasures are perceived in seeing myself as an individual. I see myself as an individual because I don't see myself as a pure conscious being. I am a conscious being, unqualified by anything physical. Observer is not made of the form that he observes. Observer is not made of the sound that he observes. Observer is not made of the matter that he observes. Observer is not made of the time that he observes. Observer is not made of the physical that he observes. Nor the observer is made of the absence of everything that he observes. You are never made of what you observe. And we have no identity other than being aware. That very observer puts on a form called the body and he looks like a man or a woman. The truth. It's like when you put on a given shirt, you get a given look. Similarly, you put on a given body, then you get a given look. In every life, you have a given look. Put on a given body, a given costume, you have a given look. But the one who is aware of the body is not made of the body. Means I told you long ago one thing. Once you see, yes, I should be so, dwell on it, you will discover I am so. I should be different. I should be different from the body. It is even the result of many years of study. Because the one who is aware of the body can never be made of. I should be different. Due to some problem, I am thinking one with the body. But there is a distinction between myself and the body. I should be different. And dwell on that, just dwell on that thought, on that fact. In terms of division. Think in terms of distinction between you and the body. Atma, Anatma, Viveka. Think in terms of the distinction between the self and the body. The distinction becomes clear without any movement. Because the body cannot arrogate, cannot say me. Therefore, the one who says me is none other than the truth. Me is the truth. He thinks about that me wrongly. Me is not ego, me is the truth, about which there is an ego, I am the form. Like this is not an error. This is the rope. When I say this is a silver, that this part of it is, that this part of it belongs to the shell. When you say this is the silver, because there is no silver, this doesn't apply to the silver. This belongs to the shell. Similarly, I am the body. When you say the I doesn't belong to the body, the I is the truth. This is the silver, this belongs to the shell. I am the body, the I belongs to the truth. I is the truth. When the wave says I am the wave, that I refers to the water. It is being water and thinking. See the difference between being and thinking? That's where you have to see the difference between being and thinking. Being and thinking is a being water. And for being water, there is no effort. It is effortlessly being the water. But it is not being being. It is thinking. It is you. And so subtle is that distinction. Why? Because both are. I am a wave is thinking. What is it? I am conscious is being. One is being conscious and thinking I am a form. And that identity of being conscious involves no change, no movement. Like the idea of that entire wave is rooted in being water. The thought that I am the wave, that entire look of the wave is non-separate from this identity of being water. Is all what we are doing is reflection. आराम से बैठिए. See the difference between conscious identity of yours. The movement of the mind is not the movement of consciousness. Consciousness doesn't dazzle. Mind can be restless. That restlessness is the restlessness of thinking. Restlessness is the restlessness of thought, not restlessness of awareness. Because the one who is aware of the restlessness is not restless. So the distinction between the observed and the observer is enormous, but it looks really as though they are synonymous. So, like the space on the table. How do you distinguish? You can't say this is table, this is space. How do you separate them? Because the table cannot be put away from space. For us, dividing means 2 points of space. Seeing distinction means seeing them at 2 points of space. Now, how can you see space and the table at 2 points of space? Are you able to follow what I am saying? Follow. The best thing that you can do in life is just follow it. The rest is all nothing. The rest is all nothing. The rest is all nothing. Doesn't mean anything. How can you put the table and the space at 2 points? Therefore, when we say, see the distinction between the self and the body, it doesn't mean trying to visualize them at 2 points of space. They are dissimilar in nature. But without movement, the table is space. The table is not separate from space. Table is unlike space. Table is unlike space. But it is made of space. As is the relation between table and space, so is the relation between matter and awareness. I will follow. Matter and awareness. Body and awareness. You can't visualize awareness, your being and the body at 2 points of spaces. You can't say, I am here and the body is there. The there always rooted in awareness. The only way of discerning between the table and the space is to say it is unlike space, but it is space. It is unlike space. It is one with space. Body is unlike the eye, but it's not independent of awareness. Matter is unlike awareness. The observed is unlike the sakshi, the observer, but it's not independent of observer. It's made of. How can matter be made of awareness as an illusion? Illusions are made of awareness. We don't say the object is made of awareness to change. Object is made of awareness as an illusion. Like mirage water is made of sand. Why not? It is made of sand really. Mirage is made of sand, not to change, but as an illusion. As an illusion. As a thought. As a vision. An illusion. Vision. I am the body that gives vision. All our relationships, our attachments, वगैरह. So much we think of रात दिन एक थोड़ा सा सो जाते फिर आते. I mean, the unceremonious way of transcending them is very interesting. So unceremonially we live there untranscended. So You just dump them. They don't exist. In fact, when a person falls asleep, there is no difference between the state before the life began, before I was born in this form, and now. What is the difference? What is the difference between before birth, after death and sleep? क्या फर्क है? क्या? See it. Take it very seriously, this statement. What is the difference between before life and after death and therefore, think this is more important. Don't look at these attachments, they are really the most important. So, even if you give your best attention, they have their ups and downs. They will kill you. You will run. Even if I give my best attention to things have got ups and downs. If I leave everything to Bhagavan, then also they have some ups and downs. So what kya hua? Then what is the best thing to do? Best thing is just give it in the hand of Bhagavan. Let him handle it. थोड़ा बहुत अपना टाइम पास करे, थोड़ा बहुत कर लेना. Don't unnecessarily. You see, do you know what is the worst thing? Even if you have problems, it is justified. If you are unhappy with certain problems in your life, it is perfectly justified. As jivas, we are perfectly justified to be little worried, little anxious, little painful. It's okay, Ji. I don't think, as an individual, as far as I am concerned, I don't worry about the worry. I don't worry about little pain. I don't start why I should have pain. This is a very stupid question. All these things are justifiable, but one thing is not justifiable. The ups and downs should not distract you from the education about the truth. It should not distract you from the education. Continued reflection on the continued way of looking at your presence. It is not even complicated. Just look at your presence, but that you are there. Don't take your presence for granted. I am there with full attention. I am there. The way I am there. Repeat that word, I am there. My people. Keep doing japa. The dream I am there. And look at your presence. Even the blackout, I am there because it's my experience. Thus, catch hold of. Grapple with your presence. Don't say I am there in the waking, I am there in the dream, and then I am not there somewhere. There is not one experience in which you are not there. Thus, perceive, reflect to see your continuity. Your bungalow is beautiful if you are doing this thinking, otherwise it is a mistake. You have a huge house. Either it is Bhoot Bungalow or it is Vidya Bungalow. If you are doing Vedanta, then it is Vidya Bungalow. If you are not doing Vedanta, if you have a huge bungalow, then what is it? Bhoot Bungalow. Who is the Bhoot there? Yourself. Who else? The one who lives in a bungalow without really thinking about the truth is the Bhoot. Yes, when we leave the truth, we are good for nothing, I am telling you. Life is most uninteresting. Minus really being reflective, life becomes very, very uninteresting. Life is uninteresting. Going after the uncertain things is very, very, very unentertaining. Very uncertain. पता नहीं क्या uncertain. You give all your love, your heart and soul to a person, but then you are not sure what that person thinks good. This it dampens the spirit of marriage. I know I give all my heart and soul to the other person, but I don't know what the other person. Whenever I think of marriage, I think of Bhadragari. You know Bhadragari? Your Rama? Yes. You know the story. Therefore, go through the pinpricks. It's all justified. But don't allow your pinpricks to distract you from this great education about you. Your being. Minus, without spending time for this reflection, even if you solve your problem, it's not a big achievement. A few problems you solve. You wanted to add something, a few more rooms to your bungalow. Okay, you take it. It's not a big achievement. At the cost of Vedanta, even if you add a few more rooms, you need only one room. Clean room, one room. We have to choose between 10 dusty rooms and one clean room. It is better to choose one clean room. Yes. Therefore, here it says, Rajatavat pratitistu bhrantikale sarvajanina tathacha vakshati bhagavan bhashyakaraha, and all this will be made clear by Bhashyakara in time, through the Bhashya. Sab batayenge. What will he say? Hey, you are neither seeing the silver that is there, nor are you seeing the silver that is not there. Shuktikani rajatavata bhasate. You are seeing only the shell and the silver. Now three schools look at, you see. And now you should understand the difference between Vedanta and the others. And within a small example we can read all schools. They have a different explanation for this. One person says there is a Rajatam in your mind, you put it there. Another person says there is Rajatam has a similar quality as a shell. Therefore, that similar, that shine creates a silver. The imaginations are. When you leave the right, then you are only moving from the wrong to wrong. Bhagavan Krishna says, Bahushakha Janastascha. Utthayo Vyavasayana. I like that one. He says, once you leave the truth, the errors are Bahushakha, means are endless. They keep branching and branching and branching. The illusions keep branching. Your wrong thinking keeps branching and branching endlessly. Whereas Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekena kuruvata. But the right thinking, you can't have two rights. Perhaps you may have two right actions, not the two right knowledges. That we say the shell for the silver, if that is right, and what is the alternative right? What is the alternative? Right has no alternative. There can be an alternative wrong. Is it not? There can be an alternative wrong. Not an alternative right vision. There can be an alternative action. Actions have alternatives. Acts don't have. Knowledge doesn't have. Able to follow? Follow it. Atikla. We continued it. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.